For the end of the 7th month, it is very, very scary and alarming, and very unfortunate. These attacks have taken place in parts of the country perpetrated by both civilians and uniformed security operatives. Journalists covering elections, crime scenes, protests, demolitions, and other public interest activities have been subjected to harassment, manhandling, and in some cases detention without legal basis. This environment of fear is a serious threat to democratic governance, and the failure to punish offenders sends a dangerous signal that violence against journalists is permissible in Ghana. The Ablekumanov attacks on journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, colleague media practitioners, the GJA finds it baffling that weeks after a senior police officer was captured on radio attacking a reporter with EIB network, Mr. Emmanuel Banayene, during the Ablekumanov parliamentary election rerun. We are yet to hear of the concrete actions taken by the police administration on the perpetrator of the act. Because apart from issuing two statements saying the officer has been interdicted and another that the officer has been charged, we are yet to evidently see that the said actions have equally been taken. Till today, the police has reluctantly failed to present the officer before court. This creates so much suspicion, and also raise concerns as to whether the police truly charge this officer. It raises suspicion and so many concerns. A Joy News reporter of the multimedia group, Salome Nati, was also assaulted in Ablekumanov while she was diligently covering the parliamentary election rerun in the constituency. This was not only a personal assault, it was an attack on the Ghanaian public's right to know. Violence against a journalist during a democratic process fundamentally undermines the credibility of that process. It chills free expression, threatens transparency, and sets a dangerous precedent for future elections. We acknowledge the recent communication by the Ghana Police Service indicating that the officer involved has been charged. While this is a welcome step, the DJ insists that charging alone is not justice. Justice must be seen to be done through a swift, transparent, and fair prosecution that results in meaningful accountability. We urge the police to come out publicly on the identity of the two suspects they claim they are arrested and give detailed information of their arrest, as we have stated in the GJA request letter sent to them last week. And like I did mention, till today, the child police officer has not been arraigned before court. And so let's ask ourselves, is the police being sincere and honest with us and the public? Okay. Now this is our demand. Demands to the police, to the Ghana Police Service. And the demand is tagged as time for action. Time for action. The GJA hereby demands from the Ghana Police Service as follows. 1. A detailed update on the status of investigations into all reported attacks against journalists across the country within the past 7 months. 2. A public report on the prosecution of the police officer involved in the Ablekumanov incident, including timelines and court proceedings. 3. Clear disciplinary action and sanctions against officers or individuals who have assaulted journalists, whether in uniform or civilian attire. 4. Specific measures the police service is putting in place to prevent future attacks and to train officers on respecting press freedom and media rights. 5. The police should do the needful by writing or responding to our formal request. We have formally written to the police requesting a full investigative report on all assault cases, including but not limited to that of the Abekuma North elections rerun. And we need that to be done. We expect these demands to be met within 7 days from the date of this statement. And I want to reiterate, I want to take this again. We expect these demands to be met within 7 days from the date of this statement. Failure to do so will leave us with no option but to advise all media houses across the country and our members to boycott all police-related activities and declare them as enemies of press freedom. If the police fail to adhere to our directive, this is what we are going to do. We will boycott all police-related activities and we will declare them as enemies of press freedom in the country. Magdan warehouse demolition, intimidation through detention. The GJA is also deeply troubled by the attacks and unlawful detention by national security operatives of Joy News journalist Carlos Kaloni and his cameraman who were covering the recent demolition of the Magdan warehouse in Accra, owned by businessman Daniel Macaulay, popularly known as Magdan. Mr. Kaloni was at the scene on Wednesday, 30th July 2025, documenting the demolition exercise and the growing tensions between civilians and men in military uniform. In a blatant show of disregard for media rights, the journalist was obstructed, hit at the neck, arrested, harassed, and detained while attempting to gather facts and report to the public. This arrest and detention were not based on any justifiable legal grounds. Rather, they appear to be attempts to suppress information and silence scrutiny of the demolition exercise. This is censorship through force and must be condemned in the strongest terms. We demand that the Ghana Police Service and the National Security provides a public explanation for the arrest and detention of Carlos Kaloni and his cameraman. Additionally, we request the immediate release of any findings or internal reviews conducted regarding the uniform officers involved. So any findings or internal reviews conducted regarding the uniform officers involved. The media must be allowed to report freely on public matters without fear of reprisal. We are public interest media and we must stress that. And so we should be allowed to go about our duty without fear of favor and without fear of reprisal. Acknowledging the presidency statement, a step forward but not enough. The GJA takes note of the statement issued by the Office of the President, the Republic of Ghana, and signed by the Minister in charge of Government Communication, the spokesperson, Honorable Felix Kwachofusu, condemning the spate of attacks against journalists. The GJA appreciates the President's public stance on this critical matter and acknowledge the recognition of journalists as key actors in Ghana's democratic space. However, while we acknowledge the statement as an important symbolic gesture, we urge the presidency and the government as a whole to march west with decisive action. Ghana's international standard as a beacon of democracy may be at risk if those who attack journalists with impunity continue to go unpunished or are shaded by institutional silence. We call on the government to direct all security agencies to act promptly on reported cases of abuse against media personnel. Introduce clear policy measures and training protocols to ensure state actors understand and uphold media rights. And last, publicly support prosecutions and disciplinary actions against those who violate press freedom, regardless of rank or political affiliation. Legal and constitutional context. Journalism is not a crime. Indeed, it is not a crime to be a journalist or to practice journalism. It is vital that we always remind ourselves that Article 162 of the 1992 Constitution guarantees the freedom and independence of the media. Also, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and international conventions to which Ghana is a signatory, including the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, all underscore the right of journalists to work without interference. When a journalist is attacked, arrested, intimidated, or harassed, it is not merely a personal harm, it is a constitutional breach. It is an assault on the public's right to know. It is an erosion of democracy. To this end, protecting journalists is not an act of kindness, it is a constitutional obligation of the state and its security agencies. The GJA's position going forward: zero tolerance for impunity. Zero tolerance for impunity. The GJA will not be silent or tolerant in the face of systematic violence against journalists. The association will no longer accept symbolic condemnations without action. We will no longer allow the work of journalists to be criminalized under the pretext of national security or public order. If the Ghana Police Service fails to act decisively within the next 7 days, as already stated, the GJA, in consultation with key stakeholders, will announce a nationwide media blackout of all police activities. We will instruct our members to withhold coverage of police events, refuse participation in police press briefings, and suspend all forms of editorial engagement involving the police. This is not a threat, and I want to reiterate that, Mr. IGP and your men in uniform, this is not a threat. It is a necessary action to defend the dignity and safety of every Ghanaian journalist, and we shall do that. A major worrying trend happening now is the usage of our security agencies in causing harm and meting out brutalities to journalists. So we ask, are these frequent attacks on journalists under a precedent we can confidently and boldly say is our own? Because as we speak, the president is still a proud paid-up member of the Ghana Journalists Association who shares in the pain and plight of journalists. I would like to take this opportunity to remind our esteemed member, the president, of how far we have come in our pursuit of press freedom, and any attempt to take us back will not be accepted. Ladies and gentlemen, it is becoming clearer by the day that politicians pay lip service to attacks and lip service to attacks and the safety of journalists. It is our prayer that we will not be pushed to the extent where we will be considering total media blackout in the country. Again, the military should understand that failure on their part to expose and sanction the said perpetrators of this crime will also have damning consequences, and we will embarrass them. If the military fail to expose the members, the officers, the soldiers in uniform behind these perpetrators. CDS, the Chief of Army Staff, we are not just serving notice. We are not threatening. We have done our homework and we are prepared. If you fail to do so, we shall embarrass you. We will come out boldly and expose your men. Our general resolve: legal accountability. 1. Personal lawsuits. The GJA shall, through its legal team, file civil assault cases personally against officers who attack journalists. We shall not shield or allow state protection for individual misconduct. The perpetrators shall be sued in their personal capacity to bear full legal consequences. 2. Human rights petitions. We shall collaborate with human rights bodies locally and internationally to document and pursue justice for each assaulted journalist. Diplomatic sanctions. Engagement with embassies. Formal communication shall be sent to key embassies, including the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, France, and the European Union delegation in Ghana, urging them to: 1. Deny or revoke visas of identified security officers who have attacked journalists. 2. Consider such individuals as security risks and enemies of press freedom. 4. UN and international bodies. The GJA will write to the United Nations, UNESCO, the African Union, and ECOWAS to: 1. Deny all international postings, assignments, and peacekeeping opportunities to known violators of media rights. 2. Demand sanctions and blacklisting of such officers from serving in international missions. Administrative pressure. Petition to security councils. The GJA will petition the Ghana Armed Forces Council and the Police Council requesting that officers who attack journalists be disqualified from promotion and subjected to internal disciplinary proceedings. The GJA shall publish the names, ranks, and photos of all identified journalist attackers in 1. Monthly front pages of major newspapers. 2. Key online news platform for a period of 1 year and all over social media platforms. 3. Notice board of all media houses. Notice board of all media houses. And these individuals will be labeled enemies of democracy and press freedom. Enemies of democracy and press freedom. We therefore urge or call on the Ghana Armed Forces to furnish us or publish the full details of the soldiers involved in this unfortunate act within 7 days. 7 calendar days. Press Freedom Watch List. The GJA will launch a Press Freedom Blacklist, publicly naming all individuals and institutions involved in the repression of journalists in Ghana, and share same with our international partners. And if I say international partners, I mean Federation of African Journalists and International Federation of Journalists, who are much concerned about the safety of journalists. Solidarity and a call to civil society. Solidarity and a call to civil society. We call on all civil society organizations, especially TUC, Ghana Bar Association, that's GBA, religious bodies, human rights institutions, and the international community to stand with the media in this crucial moment. Where society is silent whenever journalists are attacked, that is a loud message of complicity and an endorsement of criminality. The GJA urges all stakeholders to add their voices to this call for justice and accountability. We also encourage the public to appreciate the vital role journalists play in society, not just as informers, but as defenders of truth, transparency, and public interest. Insecurity in parts of Ghana. Insecurity in parts of Ghana. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the association is deeply concerned over the rising incidents of insecurity in some parts of the country, particularly in Boko in the Upper East region, in Kwanta in the Oti region, Ashaiman in the Greater Accra region, and Asawase in the Ashanti region. These recurring episodes of violence, ethnic tensions, and armed attacks continue to threaten the peace, cohesion, and security of affected communities and pose a significant threat to national stability. The more disturbing one is the killing of innocent school children. And I stress on that, the more disturbing one is the killing of innocent school children while they are in school. And as you all know the story, these children were brought out of their classrooms and shot that killed these innocent children or students. Very disturbing and unfortunate. The GJA joined the peace-loving people of Ghana in condemning the lawlessness and acts of violence in these areas, which have claimed lives, displaced residents, and disrupted socio-economic activities. We strongly urge all individuals and groups beyond these disturbances to lay down their arms and embrace dialogue and peaceful coexistence. It is often said that the path to lasting peace is never built on bloodshed or distraction, but on mutual respect, negotiation, and understanding. While we applaud the vigorous efforts of our security personnel in responding to this volatile situation, we believe more can be done to anticipate, prevent, and swiftly contain such threats. We therefore implore the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Armed Forces, and the various regional and district security councils to adopt a proactive and intelligent-led approach to conflict prevention and resolution. And the word is intelligent-led. It assumes that the intelligence of our security agencies are broken down. The intelligence unit. Because if our intelligence is strong, even after killing the chief at Asawase, we shouldn't record subsequent cases or killings. And we think that the police, Ghana Police Service, and the Ghana Armed Forces, as well as the various regional and district security councils, should adopt a proactive and intelligence-led approach to conflict prevention and resolution. We acknowledge the government's recent directive to complement traditional peacekeeping with a more robust enforcement of law and order in areas like Boko. This is a step in the right direction. Where lives are being lost and communities destabilized, the state must act not only to mediate but to restore order decisively. And the word is decisively. We call on the National Security and the Interior Ministry to deepen engagement with local stakeholders, traditional authorities, youth groups, and civil society in order to address the root causes of these disturbances and to create sustainable peace architecture in these conflict-prone zones. Call for professionalism among journalists in conflict reporting. The GJA takes this opportunity to urge all journalists and media practitioners across the country to uphold the highest standards of professionalism, ethical responsibility, patriotism in reporting on conflict situations, particularly in regions experiencing protracted violence and social instability. The media has a critical role to play in times of conflict, not just in informing the public, but in shaping narratives that either inflame tensions or promote peace and reconciliations. The GJA strongly encourages journalists to exercise caution, accuracy, and sensitivity in the choice of language, sources, and images used in conflict reportage. We must be guided by the principles of truth, fairness, and national unity. Conflict reporting must not become a tool for ethnic profiling, political manipulation, or incitement. Rather, it should contribute meaningfully to peace building, conflict resolution, and national development. The GJA hereby warns journalists and media houses against contributing to the conflict in those areas through the spreading of disinformation, promoting hate speech, or using their platform to incite violence. Such conduct does not only tarnish the image of the noble profession, but also undermines national peace. Let it be known that the GJA will be the first to support law enforcement agencies in applying the full rigors of the law against any media practitioner who is found culpable in framing conflict through irresponsible and dangerous reportage. The association will not shield any journalist who breaches ethical standards or violates national security laws under the guise of press freedom. The association believes in media freedom, but we also believe in media responsibility. We should know that press freedom is not absolute. It comes with responsibility. The survival of our democracy depends not only on the freedom to report, but on the responsibility to report ethically and constructively. Let us report not just to inform, but to heal, to unite, and to build. GJA's encouragement to journalists. We encourage all journalists to stay fearless. The GJA stands solidly behind every journalist who continue to serve Ghana with integrity, courage, and a commitment to truth. We will continue to defend every journalist. We will not relent in our fight to ensure that you work in safety and dignity. In conclusion, we want to repeat what we have been saying with clarity and firmness, that journalism is not a crime, and attacks against journalists are attacks against the soul of democracy. We expect swift, tangible, and transparent action from the Ghana Police Service and the security agencies. Our demands are justified and our patience is fading. While we say zero tolerance for attacks, we will not be quiet, we will not be intimidated, and we will not allow the enemies of press freedom to win. Thank you, and may God bless journalists across the country.
Citizen TV, Accra, Ghana. Citizen TV, the citizen's power.